heading into day 9. So day 9 is also just repetition. This is where we've got a little bit of extra going on, where we've done the little, where I've added in a flap and a place for a little bit more embellishing. All right. So before we begin with day 9, we need to add the reinforcing to this one. So I'm going to pop this one in the album. I'll just put it on the side here. So I want to add my reinforcers. Remember, I've cut these pieces 2 centimeters by 21. So the same thing, we're just going to add a glue around the holes, a little squiggle down the middle, squiggle on the top, squiggle at the bottom, and then just do lines, glue around the edges of your reinforcing spine, like that. And now we can attach. We want to make sure that it's flush against the top, flush against the bottom, and flush against the side, the center. Again, top and bottom you can trim off, but if you don't get it straight and flush against the side, you are going to sit with a tiny little problem. Nothing we can't hide with washi tape. Right, so then we're just going to take the punch again and punch out those holes that are already there. Just line it up with that, punch. And there we go. That's all done. Okay, so this one is a little bit more involved than the others. There must always be something that challenges us. So I've got it, the number 9's, day 9's photo mat. I'm just going to put some glue on so that it can dry while we chat. Okey-dokey. Okay. Right, so these are the goodies I've chosen. I've got a sentiment card, a bow, I have the presents, I have the little dude again carrying the Christmas tree. I've chosen this pattern paper, but it has this at the back. So that was going to present a small problem, and I didn't have any more double-sided paper to make it easy for me to, if I show you, right. So this paper is double-sided, and it was easy enough for me to use the pattern that's over there, over here. And I didn't have to worry about this pattern having anything out, so that worked for me. With this, this one, the dot, it obviously has all of this at the back, which made it a little bit more complicated. So all I did was cut out some pattern paper to attach to it and create my own collaged background like that. Okay, but we'll get to that piece. Right, I chose the word happy memories. I've got this little, this comes from the booklet, it's the smaller version. I have this little sentiment that I also just cut out, okay, and then the piece of this here. So this, there's 2 of these patterns in the booklet. So this piece measures 12.5 across, 20 centimeters down. All right. So again, I'm going to need to put something here to make up for the 0.5 centimeter, and that's where that's going to go, like that. All right. Then my plan is to have my flap attach on over here like that. Okay. And when we open the flap, we will be working on this pattern paper, which I will trim to size. We'll do that once we've got everything stuck. My plan is to attach this one here and this one here. Right, and then my photographs will go over here like this. Like that. And then I've cut a 2 centimeter strip and punched out a border punch, which I think will slide in over there like that. I have this little goodie that's going to go in over here like that. Right, so and then Underneath here, I'm not going to do anything. Obviously, I have the Christmas tree, but the front of my page, my plan, is to have this here. Christmas is a time to reconnect. Okay, with the present sticking out behind it, and with the little dude carrying it off like that. Then over here, this and this is going to work here with the little sentiment, happy memories. All right, so once I start to stick, it'll make a lot more sense. So we're going to start with the background, and then with the flap, and then with the embellishing. Right, so this is easy. This piece, like I said, measures 12.5 centimeters across, 20 centimeters down, and we're just going to attach that in place. Again, you want to make sure there's a nice border all the way around. Oops, I should have added the flap, sorry. So with the flap, I'm just going to put some glue on the wrong side, on the inside of the flap, like that. And on the outside of the flap, because it's just going to slide in. And that is going to go in over here. So the flap measures 11 centimeters by 20, and then I've scored it at the 1 centimeter mark at the top to give me that fold line. But it obviously has to go on before I can carry on. It's about 0.5 centimeter away from the pattern, and then because we've scored it 1 centimeter, it's automatically shorter than the pattern paper at the back. Right, so there we go. You can just lift that out of the way so we can carry on working with the bottom. There. Right, then we're going to attach this little piece here to make up for that. That's perfect like that. And again, at a later stage, I can always go in and add something extra here and there. Right, so that one's pretty simple, done and dusted. I think we'll do the embellishing and then we'll go and do the photo mats. So I would like to put this here, Christmas is a time to reconnect, with the little present, like that. And we can put the little dude in over there like that. What I will do is I will only put glue on the edges, I'll show you, so that if I want to slide a photograph or a journaling card in, I do have that option. So again, with this, I'm only going to put glue here at the bottom. But for my, the Christmas is a time to reconnect, I'll leave the top part, I won't put glue at the top, I'll just put it from like this here. Okay, and that's going to go centered over here like that. Again, once the gel lines are around, everything's going to stand out really well. So then my little presents, they can go in over here, also center it a bit, kind of like that. And then the little dude carrying the Christmas tree, he can go in over there, maybe a little bit down. There we go, that looks better. Right, so I'll hold it in place this time to burn it. There we go. So now, like I said, we can easily add something in if you're wanting to add a photograph or another journaling block or something extra in like that. I think that has turned out really nicely. And then over here, we can put the day, the number of the day, which is day 9. I think that we will bring day 9 over this side. I think that it's just going to be too heavy this side. It just balances it out a little bit better over here. Okay. And then I'll draw some lines around it. So I was just giving it a bit of time to stick. Like that. So now we need to do the inside. So my plan is then to attach this flush against there like that. I'll make a mark. The idea is then to get this to flow. Alright, so what does that give me? So it looks like I'm going to cut it at 19 centimeters, but I will cut it just a little bit away from the 19, mainly because I don't want it to catch on this fold. So I just wanted it slightly away from the fold, and we will hide this little join where you can see the letters coming through with some washi tape. So I'm going to cut it about 18.9, I think. I'm just going to cut it slightly away from that. For the green piece, I'm not going to measure, I'm just going to line it up. I think it's going to be a little bit more accurate this way. So line it up with the pattern paper at the top there and the side, and then we can trim that off. Like that. Add a little bit of inking. I'm going to attach that there and that here. So I'll add this one first. And always go back and add a little bit more ink. So this I'm going to then attach a flush to the top. And make sure that it's, before I stick, I want to be sure that it's not going to catch. It is not. Before I burnish everything in place. If I need to, I will trim off that little extra at the top there. Same with this one. And even though I'm going to cover most of this up with photographs, at least I now know that my patterns flow. My story that I'm trying to tell will flow. I'm just going to line that up as well. Fold it to make sure it's going to, there we go, that it's flush. Good, good. Okay, we can just burnish that in place. And then that little bit, that little overhang, we can then trim off. See, it's just a teeny tiny little piece that needs to come off. There we go. And I can just go around the edges then with some ink just to finish it off. Right. Over here we can then go in and add some washi tape. I'm going to add this one. It's a Christmas washi tape that I've had for many, many years. Oh, can't find where it starts. There we go. We're just going to add a little piece of washi like that. And the same thing, we'll burnish that in place. Fold it over, burnish it again. There we go, open it up. And then just for interest, I'll just add another little piece here. So just layer on another little piece. I think that looks awesome. I'll add some to balance it. We can just add another little piece here. Like that. And maybe a little piece of the green. Like that. So then it's repetition. And it looks like it was intentional. Yeah. So when I close this now, that's how awesome that's going to look. My little Father Christmas's face is just sticking out. I should have checked that first. Okay, so now we're going to add the photographs and the rest of the embellishing. All right, let's quickly mat the photos. I'll sort out the photo mats. Okay, so I find it easier with the repetition, to decide how many pages I'm going to do. You know, like it's come up with something new for each page. So in this case, I chose 6, and then I'm going to repeat those 6 pages going forward in the album. So essentially, there will be, I think, 4 of each recipe that we've created. So these are going to go over here like this. Right. I'm then going to have this go in on the side of it like that. I have made this a little bit longer than it needs to be, and we can then just, so that I have the option to trim it. So if I do it like that, they're going to go in like that. All right. Bring it in a little bit. Okay, so it looks to me like we need to trim that to about over here. It's on that dark green line. I'm just going to find my scissors. Just going to trim it here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and attach my photographs. Remember, I'm wanting to slide that punched piece in, so I'm just going to leave space for that to be able to happen. I'm not going to put glue all the way to the end. I am going to start at the top here. So I want the same amount of space at the top and the sides. And then the next one, I like to give about a 2 mil gap between the photos when I'm attaching like this. You've got to do what looks good for you. You might prefer a bigger gap, or you might prefer them directly on top of each other. Remember, at the end of the day, it is your album and you have to look at it. And you need to be happy with what you've done. Okay, I'm happy with the spacing. I'm happy that they're pretty straight. I'm just going to burnish them in place. There we go. And then this piece is going to slide in over here. Like that. I'm going to put it at a slight angle. I want to add a piece of washi tape In the other one I added this stripy one, but I don't think that that's going to look too good, so I think I'm going to add this one. I just want some of it to be sticking out like that. Let's see what that gives me. Oh, I think that looks pretty good. It also allows me then to add this little piece, bring it out a little bit further, and you can choose to have it dead straight, or you can do what I'm doing. I'm putting it at a slight angle, slightly to the top, and that's going to go in like that. Okay. If you're worried that the washi tape's not going to hold it, you can always lift this up and just add a bead of glue. I'll just put in 3 little beads to secure it in place. There we go. I think that, that looks pretty good. I want to pop this in over here like that, and then I'm going to have this sentiment stick out which says happy memories. We can, I don't think I want to add that bow there. We can maybe put it in over there or there. I think it'll look better over here. There, I think that looks better. Right, let's see when I stick everything if it's going to be in the right place. Remember, I'm wanting to slide photos underneath, so when I stick my sentiment down, I only want to put glue on part of the sentiment, not the whole piece. That's going to go over there. Oops. Just need to give it more time to bond. I always forget because I'm used to working with the green glue. Right, and then this one as well, just going to put glue at the bottom here. You can maybe put a little bit up at the top here, because it's going to go in over here like that. And then you can just draw lines around the happy memories. There we go. And if I close up here now, is the bow going to look okay here? I think so. Yes. So we can then pop the bow in over here. I'm just going to give that glue a little bit of time to dry. So I'd like to balance this out over here, and all I'm going to do then is take some washi tape and just run it down the page like that to about there. And that for me then just adds a little bit of balance to and makes it feel like it flows. All right, pop the bow in. I think it's going to look good there. Let me double check with when I close here. Yes. So make sure that that glue doesn't. And that works fine. Perfect. Alright, so there's day 9 done. We are going to do day 10. My squeaky chair. Don't know where I've put it now. There it is. day 10. So we're going to start off doing the same thing. I'm going to attach this and then carry on. Right, so some glue around the holes, squiggly up and down, around the sides of your reinforced spine. Remember, they are 2 centimeters by 21. Right, let's attach that in place. Right, and then just punch the holes. Right, so day 10, we've done a nice complicated one on day 9, so day 10 is going to be just a little bit less complicated. All right, so before we begin, I have my little pile of goodies that I want to use. We're also going to do a flap with this one. Let me get it out. Right. So we're going to repeat day 4. Nice, easy one to complete. Okay. So you are going to cut your photo mat to measure 10.5 by 15.5. The black card is 11 by 17. All right. Your pattern paper, in mine I used a solid piece, but again, I was running out of solids, so we have to kind of start to piece together new backgrounds, you know, use our paper very cleverly. And I figured that this is how I would do my background, so that when I open up here, it kind of flows, the pattern flows, because they will be laying next to each other when you open. There we go, like that. And then I figured we can have this sticking out the bottom. All right, and remember my flap goes over there. We're going to use some washi tape again to create the hinge, like that. And that hinge opens up. This piece I'm going to use for journaling, so we can put in the little gingerbread house. There's the number. And it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. And then for this tab and this sentiment is for the front of the flap. So my flap, you need to make sure when you have the flap on that all of this, I'm going to bring it down slightly, doesn't stick out, that it is kind of underneath, more underneath the flap. Just space it so that it works. Let's bring that in, bring that up, bring it down a bit, like that. So when this closes it, you don't see the housey sticking out or the sentiment, and this can move over a little bit more as well, like that. Alright, so that's going to work out really nice. So again, I will run through the measurements of everything that you need. To begin with, I just want to put glue on my embellishments so that I can move them around if need be. Right, so that just a bead along the center. Right, for the house again, I'm just going to put some glue down the bottom, because again, maybe I want to slide something in at a later stage. For the scallop border, we can just do a bead of glue along the edge like that. Right. For this one, also just a little bit at the top. And for Season to be Jolly, just down the center. Does make it easier when I start to assemble if we've already done this, and just put the glue aside to dry. Okay, so you've got to dig through your stash, and you can either, maybe you work a little bit smarter than I do. If you have a piece of pattern paper solid, it measures 12.5 centimeters across, and I think it was 16.5 centimeters down. I'll tell you now. getting there. 17 centimeters down, and then this little piece is 3.5 by 12.5. All right, so I didn't have a solid piece, so I just took 2 pieces and made up a solid. So my first pattern measures 7.5 centimeters across by 17 centimeters down. I made this one a bit longer, 18 centimeters down, and then this one measures 5 centimeters across and 18 centimeters down, and then this little piece here measures 2.5 by 12.5. All right, so this here basically needs to make up the 12.5. So there might be a little bit of there we go. That seems to work fine like that. So we'll attach those in place quickly. And it's nice if you don't have a piece that's quite big enough, you can always make it so that it looks like the black is forms a border. So you can always use that you want this to be matted in the black and that to be matted in the black. It doesn't necessarily have to join up like I'm getting it to do, like that. There we go. And again, washi tape hides all the joins if you don't like them. You can just put a strip of washi. In this case, I'm not 100% sure I will, because I might be adding a photograph at a later stage. So again, something I'll leave to make that decision later. So I know that that's going to go over there. Like that. I'm not too worried that it looks like it's slightly longer. The green, I think I didn't cut it quite straight because I know I've got something going across there. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is, for me to be able to work comfortably, I want to attach my black piece of cardstock in place. So I'm going to use some washi tape to do that. I'm going to work with this Christmas one again. So we just want to create a washi tape hinge. That is more or less where I want my photo mat to be. So I think it's about 1.5 from the top. Maybe we can even make it 1 centimeter from the top, 0.5 centimeter from the side. And I'm just going to tack it down with this piece of washi. It doesn't even have to be, in a specific spot. Just the same, we're just going to follow the same principle. You're going to turn it, you can see that it's moves. I'm going to pull it in place and then just burnish that down so that it doesn't shift and creates a fold line in the washi tape. Right, so that then helps when I need to add the rest of the stuff now. It doesn't shift around. So remember, I want to add this border. I want it to look like the border is going to stick out from underneath the flap, and know that I have my number going over here, so I can afford to bring it over just a little bit more because the number will hide that. That looks good. So it looks like a frill underneath my flap. Okay, then I need to add this sentiment that says it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. I want to be sure that when I add it, that it fits under and doesn't stick out. So there we go. So I've got it added over there. I haven't stuck it in place 100% yet because I want my little gingerbread house to come in over here. I want to close the flap, make sure that it's not sticking out. There we go. And even bring my gingerbread house in just a little bit more. And I will go and dig through my embellishments to find something to put here. Failing that, piece of washi tape. Right, so my number 10, we're going to mat that onto some black cardstock. And that's going to go over here. So I want my number 10 over here. Again, I want to check that the flap's not going to hide the 10. Even bring it down a little bit. Perfect. And don't be scared to embellish over into your reinforced spine. Alright, while I wait for it to dry, I can just draw a line around it. There we go. Right, so then I'm going to attach my photo mat on like that. Again, making sure that there's the same amount of space all the way around. I'm not worried that there's more space at the top. I plan to use that in my advantage, and by adding this little sentiment, special delivery, and pop that over there like that. Looks good. And then this little word that says season to be jolly, we can add that in over here like that, right there by the Father Christmas. Right, when we open up now, obviously I want to add some more washi tape here just to round that off. So I think for this one I'm just going to add some green washi tape. Let's see, let's add a little bit of the green like that. And I'll add a little bit of this stripe, just a piece. Add it this way, like that. Remember, we need to just fold this over and burnish. There we go. Right, so for now, I won't add anything more. I will probably go find a little bow or something, or a little sentiment, a little heart or something to go over here. If I can't find anything, nothing, the little piece of washi tape like this can't fix. Other way around. And maybe make it a bit shorter. We can cut a little V into it. Maybe that might look neat. I think that's going to look a bit better. So I'll just keep it nice and straight. Add that little piece of washi tape there. And it looks like it's intentional. And it neatens up that corner just a little bit. And again, if I don't like it, I can always go and add something else over it. But that is all things I can decide at a later stage. One of the things I would do now for this, because I want to use it as a journaling block, is that I would draw lines around the edges. But in this case, I'll stitch. I'm not going to do everything. When I make fake stitches, I don't just pull my pen like that. In order to keep my lines straight, I find if I go backwards and forwards, just make little, like little colorings, little dashes. So forward and back, I seem to stay a little bit straighter than if I just go dish, dish, dish. Okay. And I think you get a little bit more ink on the paper as well by doing it like that. Okay, so there we go. There's that. So I'll go around the whole, and that's all stuff I can do off camera. But there you go. So that's your page number 10 done and dusted. So where are we at? So we've done 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 11 and 12 to go.